Welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. My name is Bobby F. Parihar here, the solution artist with my good friend, mentor, spiritual coach. This guy's my brother from another mother. Mr. Craig Ahoy has joined us here, and this is going to be a very powerful talk. I'm super blessed, absolutely honored and privileged to have you here, my friend. You've done so much for me in my life that it's beyond words. From the minute we first met, and after, if you guys don't know, I do numerology work, and he came across my desk as a client, and we're inside of an online community of entrepreneurs. So, we said, hey, I'm going to take a spin at Bobby's ride, see what he is, see what he's all about. At the end of his session, he tells me, you're not just doing numbers, you know that, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, you're trying to quantify this information, but there's a spiritual thing that's going on inside of you. And I'm like, huh? And so, yeah, you kind of just turned my light on for me. And I guess I was half unconscious to it and half like, what are you looking at? And like, don't look inside of my, inside of my stuff here. Cause spiritually speaking, I guess it was kind of a big deal for me to go and do this kind of work and this kind of stuff. And I've been trying to find my path and find my way in life. And when you just went and called me right out on it, it was a wonderful feeling. So it's really cool to have you here, my friend. How you doing?
Oh, I'm with you, Bobby. Why wouldn't I be awesome? Why wouldn't I be awesome?
That's the right answer. That's the right answer. So I want you to take a little journey path down how I knew you. When I first met you, you were a teacher. And so you were basically teaching high school students?
Yeah. I think I'd been teaching for 20 years.
Okay.
I'm here in Australia. I'm in Queensland. That's the pointy state for those people that don't know. Yeah, I've been teaching for 20 years in all sorts of areas, remote areas, Indigenous communities, all sorts of different places. But yeah, yep.
The path you turned on though, since we met, like when I'm not going to say it was because of me that I put the A in your name and then suddenly you became huge or whatever. Not going to say that. Just not going to say that. But the reality is that after we met, and I'm really not trying to say that it was because of me, but because of this community, the timing was set, things were starting to happen for you. And there was a switch, a shift. And I remember this picture clearly. It was a picture of you on a boat. It was at an event. I wasn't there. But this thing, you were like this. You had this picture of you like this. Oh, and you were kind of like holding this energy on a boat. And then you were in a suit, okay? And I think at this time I had already met you. I'm pretty sure. This was after I met you in Australia when I went down there. And some things were starting to activate inside of you. You got into healing. You got into spiritual work. You got into energy work. You went and started to go really deep into this stuff. I'd love for you to share us a little bit about your story. I'm not sure if it's more value for you to talk about the transition, to talk about what your old life was, if you want to give us like a small little quick paragraph version of where you've been. But I'm really interested in sharing people with your gifts, because you've done something extraordinarily powerful for me to activate me, clean me up, line me up in a way that we met on the astral field inside of a meditation, guys. Like, this is absolutely nuts. And I don't play with this stuff lightly. Okay, this is very serious stuff for me. So to have you as an honored member of my council, you have no idea, my friend. I will be with you until the last days. I promise you that. But where do you feel like you want to start with this?
Ooh, thank you for a start. Thank you. You're a legend. You're a legend. My personal shift, I guess, has been so profound that I'm not even sure if my life before it even matters. That's sort of like it. It might sound a bit bizarre, but and I'm not naive. I understand that absolutely. I literally felt like every single thing that I'd been doing along my life was all leading to this and leading to now. And of course, that's what it always is. But yeah, so I joined an online platform, and there was a few key questions there. And I honestly attribute it to literally just asking those questions, and not just of me, but of things that are bigger than me, things that are higher than me, things that are. And I didn't even necessarily realize that's where I was targeting the questions. I was just speaking to space. You know, I was just like, well, what am I here for? Well, what am I? What do I bring to the table? What is my purpose? What do I actually want? What is my dream day? What would my dream day look like? You know, and I guess that there was a longing inside that as well that must have attached to the question somehow. You know, it's, well, I'm asking the question, but I'd really like to know. I really want to know. I'm really curious. I'm exploring. I want to know. I'm ready to find out. I'm ready to see. And then I was in my hometown in Port Macquarie in New South Wales in Australia. And just to give you a bit of perspective, it's a 3-day drive to get from there to where I live. So then I had this 3-day drive, and I got here, and I felt really unusual. I just didn't feel like myself. There was like a set of pains up the back of my neck that I couldn't attribute to anything. I thought, what the hell is that? No idea what's going on. And within the online platform that I'm associated with, you know, I literally just put a question out there. I said, I think I'm after some sort of remote healing or something. Like, I didn't even know what I was saying. I didn't even have a clue what the words even meant, really. And you know, a few people reached out and said, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And we had some chats and some deep stuff. And I was just like, and that was really where my awareness of all of this started. And then along this path, I hear a few people drop this guy's name, Bobby F. Parihar. And I thought, yeah, bit of a dude. I wonder what he's all about. And then we connected, and then it was kind of like, you knew me before I even knew me. You know, and you were highlighting parts of me that I didn't even understand yet, and I didn't even know existed. And that's really where my journey started, and everything just started to synchronously fall in line. Before that, nothing ever really seemed to be synchronous. The word synchronous didn't even come into my vocabulary. I was just living, just living. Life was happening to me, you know, and that was it. And if something good was going to happen, it was because it was thrown at me. It wasn't because I made it happen or I lived towards it or I drew it in. I didn't have any of those understandings. And then all these crazy things just started, you know, I mean, so crazy, but and even a part of that, the fact that I caught that word, you know, crazy, I caught it. It's not crazy. It's actually awesome. It's superhuman. And yeah, I'm going to wear that label. It's not just that I'm superhuman. It's that I'm more than I was. I'm a super version of me. And it's not an arrogance. It's literally that I'm through following this path, I'm activating parts of myself that's been dormant and was always supposed to be. And so the fact that I'm even catching this language even right now, this is probably the first time that I've actually sort of caught it publicly and said, yeah, I'm superhuman. You know, normally we would say, what an arrogant wanker, you know, well, what an arrogant thing to say, what an egotistical say. But not from that perspective. It's, I am, I am. And it's in service, and it's assisting people to be more than they can be as well. And I wear that, I know that, and it's through channel that is enabled. It's not me. Without channel, I'd be nothing. Still be me, but I just, yeah. But all these synchronous things just started to happen. I remember one week there at school, you know, I was started to sway, and I was still teaching at this point. I started to sway in a weird way, and I thought, that's a bit unusual. And then the next week or 2 weeks later, the school actually offered Tai Chi lessons for students and staff. And I'm like, oh, I've never tried that before. I wonder what that's about. And here I am, I'm at these lessons, and I'm like following the instruction, and it just hit me. I'm like, this is what I was doing 2 weeks ago. This is what I was doing a week ago. I was starting to move like this. It's things like that. It's this activation, you know, that when we set an intention out, or when things are laid out in front of us, then sometimes we actually start to become that or move towards that without a conscious understanding. And it might be off on a slight tangent, but I guess one of the things that I've realized on this journey is that these old understandings of what we learn and how we learn are completely, they're not ridiculous. They're still legitimate. They still are, but they're a tiny percentage of all the ways that we can learn, of all the ways that we can receive information, of all the ways that we can be open to new possibilities and new expansions within ourselves.
Mm.
Some of the processes I follow now with clients, you know, that this word has just come out of nowhere seemingly, and it's the word bliss. And when people have finished a session, they're just sitting there glowing. They're just like, and they have trouble even finding words because it's such a foreign feeling to anything that they've ever had before. And so when you just throw the word, well, how do you relate to the word bliss? They go, yeah, yeah. It's all of a sudden, that's the vibrational state that they're in, that they've arrived at that. And so my story from all of last year and the beginning of this year as well is all about just upskilling myself. And it's been like an intuitive ride that, oh, I'm sort of called towards Reiki. I've never done it before. And in the end, the Reiki course I did was nothing like I thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But it was all about that initiation into the use of energy. And even Tai Chi, you know, Chi, it's all about this, you know. I don't know, have we ever done a Chi test with you? A little Chi practice?
I believe we did this in Australia when we first met, but
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we could. Can we do this now?
Do it?
Something we can do right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just rub your hands together. And then like you're trying to cup a ball, like a big ball. And then you're just lining up palm to palm. And then you can try and stretch it out. Almost imagine that there's a connection between your palms and squish it together like you're trying to compress it. What are you starting to feel? A warmth?
Yeah, that fuzzy little electricity that sort of comes in.
A tingle? So all we're doing is we're just externalizing your quantum field, your electromagnetic field in a way that you can actually tangibly feel it. You know, the Taoists in China have been messing around with this stuff for thousands of years. You know, there's ways that you can then even move it up your arm. Once you've got that ball, you can move it and you can feel it tingling up your arm as you move it.
Absolutely.
And then that's basically what this stuff is. It's literally just methods and ways of manipulating that electromagnetic field, the quantum field. I've got a quantum field. You've got a quantum field. We're surrounded by quantum fields of other things and other people. The Earth's got a quantum field. The universe has got all sorts of quantum fields. We just get to tap into a little bit of it. Just like sticking your finger into a power socket and literally getting a bit juiced up. You know, we hear of people saying things like, oh, you should ground more. You should ground more. And I heard it a lot. And it literally has only been in the past 2 months where a method was presented to me of how to do it really thoroughly. That it's just like, holy, I get it now. Like I not only do I get it, but I feel it. I had a client just an hour or so before this call, and he'd never even felt any of this stuff. And I guided him through a grounding, and you could see it. He was grounding in, and you could see him. Ooh, you could see him shiver as the energy was literally flowing through him. And that's what's so profound for me. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. If you're talking about a relationship or a business, a bricks and mortar business, a traditional business, it doesn't matter who you are. What gets to happen to that business when we align ourselves up and our energies up even more thoroughly, even more efficiently? What gets to happen if you throw even just a tiny percentage of the power of the earth itself into whatever it is that we do? Even if you've got a multi-million-dollar business, what happens then when you actually inject even just a tiny bit more? You know, we're talking about cents in the dollar sometimes make big differences in these businesses.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when we increase your energy by 5%? 5% increase in productivity. For some people, that's a lot of money. What happens to your relationship when you inject 5% more love into it? What happens to you when you inject 5% more direction into your life? I'm just pulling that number out of thin air, you know, but instead of feeling drained, what happens to us when we can throw a 10-minute routine into it and we literally go, oh, yeah, oh, I'm ready to go. Yeah, ready to go. It's that tangible.
You've changed. You've changed. You're not the same man I used to know. You've grown younger.
constantly. That's it. And that's even it. There's methods in this. So you're aware that I went to Costa Rica and did a quantum healing certification. So I'm a certified quantum healer. And a part of that is even pulling in notions of, well, vibrationally, there's ways that vibrationally you can literally become effervescent. There's ways in which you can literally become more vibrant, that you can radiate, that it can be internal first of all, and then it externally shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And health, you know, something like, if you listen to Dr. Joe Dispenza, something like 95% of illness is actually caused by people's vibrational state. You know, they're in dis-ease. They're feeling uneasy about themselves. It's a low vibration. It's an uncomfortable vibration. Anger, loss, mourning, fear. How much does fear permeate through our society?
Mm-hmm.
You know, all those low vibrations. What gets to happen when we actually get to tilt that and it becomes a high vibrational state, and we start to call that stuff in? When at least 50% of our day is in high vibration, even higher, then we know we're in positive. But most of us, it's the other way around. There was a Dr. Espen. Dr. Espen, I did a little seminar with him, and it just dumbfounded me, threw a statistic out there that apparently 4-year-olds will laugh up to 400 times a day, and 40-year-olds will laugh about 4 times a day. Who has more fun? Who's, you know, oh yeah, but we've got to be serious. We're adults here. We're running a multi-million-dollar business. But what happens to your business when it's full of laughter? When you understand its alignment to such extent where the staff that you even draw into yourself are in full alignment with you, and they feel like family. They feel like they're one of your appendages almost, like you're completely in sync and in tune. What happens when people come in and they do their numbers with you? You know, and you just know based on the numbers, you know exactly who it is that you want to work with and what's going to expand, whatever it is that you want to expand.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to serve, then you bring in people who just love serving, and the numbers for serving just line up and just light them up. It's a big world.
It was absolutely a blessing to find you. It was absolutely a blessing to find you, and to see how you're activating. It's just so super cool. I remember you started doing sessions, and you started actually, like, you know, hiring out your time and actually like helping people one-on-one. And I was like, no, I need to see this guy. Absolutely. I need to see him. I need to. And we got a chance to work together a few times. You worked with my wife, and I appreciate you so much for all the work that you did. I know I was enthusiastic about interviewing you because I know, based on that server mentality and that comment that you made, that was the reason why I found you. That was the reason why we were in the same sort of sphere. You know, we have plans to work together and to create programs for people to combine our strengths in a group setting, in a private setting, so that we can offer more value to people one-on-one. And it's something that you guys are going to absolutely love to be a part of and participate in. So stay tuned for that. This is not the last time you're going to see Bobby and Craig. And on the contrary, you're going to see us much and much and much more. I plan on having this guy on my stage when we do events. I plan on, you've already been inside of my household, inside of me and my energy and my wife's energy, inside of my astral field. I trust you with a massive amount of my soul respect. And to think that, you know, you're on the rise right now. You're on the rise right now. And it's a wonderful feeling to think this is your breakthrough year. You've gone into a completely brand new field, and yet you're rediscovering ancient things that I would venture as far as to say are like, you already know this, and it was a realm of rediscovery. Like, you're like, oh, Reiki, sure, why not? Or quantum healing, yeah, sure, I like that. But when I asked you before, because this is the first time I've interviewed you, I asked you before, I'm like, so what do you do? You're like, I don't know. I just do whatever needs to be done. You know, I kind of make it up as I go along. And I'm like, come on, man, help me out here. You got to give me like a term. And you're like, yeah, we're grasping at language. We're trying to find this thing that we can identify. But really, I'm reminded, and here's where the identification comes in for me. I'm reminded, and I'm paraphrasing very loosely, like a Bruce Lee adage that says, you know, you take what you learn and you kind of discard what's useless, you adapt it and you make it your own. And through that, you have stepped into this level. And it's funny because this is the first time the first time I got called a sage was by you. And I was like, whoa, what's that? That was a weird word. I'm a sage now. I'm like, I was pretty neat. But it kind of stuck with me. And I felt like it was a very like wonderful comment or compliment. But that's what I would consider you as someone who's very sage-like in their wisdom. And it's almost Buddha-like in the simplicity of its humor. And to think, hey, you know what, let's just have fun. Let's just take it nice and easy. Let's crack some jokes and put some laughter in there. But really, one hand is doing this, while the other hand is actually getting in there and working its energy, working its magic. And I hope that you take this moment to solidify the path that you're on with unwavering understanding that we're going to change the world. We're going to change the world. We're going to change the world, and whether it be just one person's world or a nice pocket of a few million people, I think that there's something in power of what you're doing, and it needs to be brought to light. That's why I was so enthusiastic about interviewing you, because I love listening to you. I love listening to what you have to say. I have this feeling that you're divining. You're like that mirror in the pyramid that shines the light into a dark place, and that's how I hold you in my space. So what's next for you? Like your business is picking up. You're not teaching anymore. You're servicing clients inside of our community. You're now certifying yourself. So like, what's beyond the horizon? Are we looking that far, or I guess before this doesn't matter, what happens next doesn't matter? Like, help me out here.
It's a funny thing, you know, because, and I'm no different to anyone else. You know, we all sort of operate the same way in that there's all these catchphrases that come to mind, you know, things like, well, we don't know what we don't know. And so many of us are just stuck, you know, from here up. We're trained to think from here up. We're educated to.
Oh, I lost your audio there, my friend. See if you can get it back.
It's all right. If we can't work out our problems, you know, so many of us are trained to just exist up in this space. We're educated to think up here. And if we can't solve our problems up here, then we even beat ourselves up. But the reality is, if you look at it on an ECG, the actual electrical field from our brain, if we compare that to the electrical field of our heart is actually 60 times stronger than our brain. Wow. Electrically. So why don't we use it? And then we factor in the fact that there's actual brain cells, there's neurons in our gut. Something like 90% of serotonin, one of the stress inhibitors, is produced in the gut. When we're feeling all rattled and we're in our brain and we try and think ourselves out of it, why wouldn't we actually use the part of our body that literally is producing the very hormones that we need to help calm our farm?
You're blowing my mind right now. Do you know how to do this?
It just happens. So what we basically do is we allow people to do it. And this is the next point that I was going to make. It's embedded in our language. You know, what's your gut instinct? What does your heart tell you? Now, this is where it gets interesting, though, because our heart and our gut instincts have sets of filters as well. So whenever we refer, even if we think, okay, you know what, I'm going to listen to my heart. Okay, I'm going to send it down to my gut. We get to actually factor in with a little bit of awareness that we're still thinking and feeling through these set of filters. And it could be, okay, well, is this guy right for me? Is this girl right for me? Is this business relationship right for me? I'm going to put it through my heart. What does my heart tell me? Well, I love the idea of it. But a part of my realization is that, well, you know, I've been burnt in business before. I've been hurt in relationships before. So I put it through that filter. Is this another opportunity where I'm going to get burnt? Is this another opportunity where I'm going to get hurt? So then we turn it off. And we switch, oh, no, I don't want to risk getting hurt. No, it's a no. It's just a no. I put it through my heart and my heart said no. But what we don't realize is that those are subconscious filters based on limits that we learned often before we're even 7 or 8 years old. And all we did was just reconfirm them and go around in cycles. you know, ever since then. It gets really profound. What gets to happen, and this is where part of my work comes in, is we come through and we literally start to, according to what the client wants, according to what the client, sometimes they don't even know what they want. You know, I was working with a lady yesterday and she was in this complete duality. She said, oh, okay, I want to work on my abundance. I want to work on my money. And a big part of me saying, no, that's not what we're going to work on. And the reason why was because she was just stuck in this duality like a lot of us are. Like, you know, I'm no different to anyone else. So I want to lose weight. All right. I'm going to go and do lots more physical activity. I'm going to eat all this healthy food. I'm going to do all these beautiful things for my body. Wow, you know what? I'm so sore. That workout yesterday was really hard. But I love you, body. I'm going to keep at it. And then another part of it literally pops in and says, oh, you poor thing. You poor thing. You should rest a bit. Rest a bit. And let me ease you. Here's some ice cream because I love you. You know, we started to set up these dualities. So with the client yesterday, she wanted abundance, financial abundance. But we worked out that whenever she actually gets money in, she spends it. So no amount of abundance is going to fix the fact that she can't hold on to the money. And she's spending it purely because that's how she feels worthwhile. But then this really weird duality gets set up where she doesn't deserve to feel worthwhile. I've got all this money. Yes, I feel worthwhile. Better get rid of it because I don't feel worthwhile. I'm not supposed to feel worthwhile. I'm not supposed to be, yeah. So we set up these weird dualities. What I often do with clients, it's like dominoes. You know, like I said, we don't know what we don't know, but sometimes it's just one domino. Just one little thing. You tip one domino and it knocks the wall, and all of a sudden you get this big, beautiful picture. And it might have been years in the making, but all of a sudden one domino lights up this whole new reality, this whole new set of possibilities. Now, how do we know what we're supposed to be doing unless we go there, unless we try, unless we are brave enough?
Yeah, I remember when we were working together, and I want to backtrack into something you said there before you can like just blow my mind even further. You were mentioning about how up until 7, our belief systems are being sort of like reinforced over and over again after that time. And when we were working together, we went right in there and you know, saved the language that I used to use on myself before I met you and before that session. It was very aggressive and a very negative thing that I was doing when I was talking to myself. And you called me out on it, and then we went through in this journey of sort of what happened to me as a kid, or where I've been through. And it's nuts to think, because it was something I adopted inside of the reality of the awareness I have when I'm talking to my clients as well. I'm very, very aware of how numbers are going to affect them as children, because I now look at my kids the same way. So you're speaking to inner children or inner child. You spoke to mine. I would imagine you're doing this to help repair some of the things that were being said or done to the kids when we were children.
Yeah. So the way I talk about it, you know, you might ask somebody, well, how was your day? Oh, it was okay. Okay, well, all right, let's put okay on a scale. Out of 10, what is okay? Where is it at?
5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah, so that's your day. Okay, so you give yourself a 5 or 6 out of 10 for your day. Yeah, good. It's great to be grateful. There's tons to be grateful for. You know, and with mindset, we can probably lift it to higher than that. If you train it and practice it, you'll see all these other beautiful things you just haven't noticed yet. Who wants to live a 5 or a 6 out of 10 life? If we apply it, if we're 5 out of 6, or 6 out of 10 life, if we then apply that to business, does that mean that our business is 5 or 6 out of 10? Our relationships, where we live, how we live, the activities that we do, the things that we're worthy of, 5 out of 6. And what starts to happen is that we'll then start to follow in and we'll set our level. All right, this is my life, 5 or 6 out of 10 life. When we don't get 5 or 6 out of 10, if things aren't quite there, then we'll feel bad. I'm rejected, I'm not worthy. I feel like crap. And then we'll do things and we'll lift it, or we'll serve someone, or we'll help someone, and we'll lift it back up. But if it gets above the 5 or 6 out of 10, goes up to a 7 or 8 all of a sudden, then we start to feel like something's weird as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, someone buys you a gift. Oh, that you spent too much money on me. Oh, what does that even imply? We're not worth that. We're not worth that gift. You know, oh, you should have just got me a $50 gift. I'm worthy of a $50 gift, not a $100 gift.
Mm.
That's like a 7 out of 10 life person, an 8 out of 10 life person. Or a beautiful person walks into your life and they start to talk to you and you're like, oh, you talking to me? Like it's foreign, you know, like you don't deserve to actually talk to a beautiful person or an intelligent person, or, you know, like you're not worthy of it. And we start to perpetuate all this stuff. And, you know, I'm dramatically simplifying. There's a lot more to it. There's all sorts of unusual dualities. There was a person the other day who literally had brought in their soulmate. And when we talked about it, yeah, their soulmate made them feel like a 10 out of 10 person. But what was interesting was that everywhere else in this person's life, they were like a 4 or a 5 out of 10. It was sort of, you can see then you got a 10 out of 10 here and a 4 of, what does it balance up to? What do you know? 6 or a 7. 6 or a 7. So there's all sorts of unusual things. And sometimes it's even relationships, you know, like one person might be, normally we think of relationships like a 1 + 1 = 2. And every once in a while, you know, I've seen a couple of power couples, like true power couples, where it's like 1 + 1 = 11. You know, they amplify each other. But a lot of relationships are more like, you know, one person is operating at 0.7 and the other person operates at a 1.3, and it's, oh yeah, we fit together so well, and we just, yeah, you're right. You're right. But what happens when the 1.3 gets tired of being 1.3 or gets exhausted because they're doing more than a person should?
Mm-hmm.
What happens when the 0.7 starts to become a 0.6 because they're used to being cared for so often, or just stop putting anything into the relationship, or what starts to happen? And this is where it gets bizarre. It gets bizarre because the 1.3 person is always going to need to draw a 0.7 into their life.
I'm working on it.
How can you be a carer if you don't have someone to care for?
Right.
So, and this is where I find really interesting is that there's no judgment in this. You might be a 1.3 and you have a 0.7 partner and you absolutely love each other and your life is blissful. Awesome. Kicking goals.
Mm-hmm.
No judgment there. It just is. It's only a problem if it's a problem.
Mm.
If you feel like you know that you're not operating at capacity, say as a business owner, you know, I'm putting a 0.7 of myself into it. I know there's more there, but there's something about it. I just can't access it. I'm not allowed to access it. I'm not allowed to go to that level of leadership or that level of success or that level of abundance or that level of, so what do you do? And I think this comes back to your question is, it's all about what the client wants. And this is where it gets really trippy because half the time they don't know what they logically want. They have a feeling.
Mm.
There's something about their soul that starts telling them this.
Mm.
Why did I reach out to you? I don't know. There was something about it. Why did I all of a sudden into that business group say, well, you know, I think I want some sort of remote healing or distance healing or something. I didn't even know what I was saying. But part of my soul was starting to speak. And this is what I help people do. I literally help them discover what it is that their soul wants to say. And we get to come in, and where their limiting beliefs, where their subconscious beliefs about themselves are limiting, and they want more than what they're allowed to have, then we get to reprogram it. We get to make it more than what they are. We get to expand them. Everything from cellular expansion. So there's methods where we can literally make people feel like their cells literally have more capacity. We tap into bodily functions that are just natural, things like breathing. What's the function of breathing? We bring energy into our body. When we exhale, wait. What happens when we start to attach intention to that? I'm bringing in energy and abundance with every breath. If you've been unwell, I'm bringing in health and vitality with every breath. Feel it penetrating with every cell. And what am I doing in return? Well, that vibration means that there's parts of me that has to leave because they're not of that vibration. Dis-ease needs to leave. Lack mentality needs to leave. Old rotten emotions that are sitting there stagnant, they all get to leave. They get pushed out of every cell, gathered up, out they go.
So
Even
someone,
breathing.
so someone's gonna work with you. Someone's gonna work with you. And if you guys are listening with this, you're like, this is profound. It's a mix between some ancient spiritual wisdom and straight up just logic and like just real. So you're gonna work with people. You have been. What does that look like? Like you're gonna suggest 3, maybe 4 sessions to work with them in total, or however long it takes. Maybe some sort of a program for them or some kind, like because you can't just do this in an hour. You can't just like get in and then get out and suddenly you're healed. Like you dig stuff out and then more stuff falls out, and then you dig that stuff out and more stuff falls out.
It's a great question, Bobby, because the funny thing is that even with one session, it's profound.
It was absolutely, but I wanted more.
But the thing is that it's through repeated exposure that this stuff starts to become embodied more and more. So what gets to happen, you know, for example, if you do a process and you feel, wow, that process was great, what gets to happen after 4 or 5 when you start to actually feel like you can do this process all by yourself without assistance? You know, so it's practice. But so I offer everything from one-on-one sessions all the way through up to 3-month mentoring now. You know, where it really becomes embodied, and you can probably relate to this as well. You know, you're at this level. You know, even when I started to charge money to clients, so I'm at this level. Oh, I don't know. Should I charge money? Should I not? Should I just give it away for free? You know, that's a step I had to negotiate. A set of worth, a set of beliefs around my worth that I needed to negotiate.
Right.
Yeah, cool. I'm over it. Yep, cool. I'm at this step now. Awesome. Well, do I deserve to actually be certified at this higher level? Oh, I don't know. Are you worthwhile that? Who the hell do you think you are? That's another step. That's another set of beliefs I need to negotiate. You know, who am I to have a $100,000 a year business? Or who am I to have a $200,000 a year business? Who am I to be a leader that's got 100 people in my team? Who am I to actually be on stage and talk to people? Who am I to be leading webinars? Who am I to have a multinational business? They're all steps. And this is where the mentoring, the ongoing mentoring becomes really valuable, because your mentor then gets to be with you every step of the way and helps to lift you. But at the very least, what I do recommend is like a series of 5 sessions. A series of 5 sessions where we literally go in and we realign your energy systems to begin with. We start to energetically remove the gunk, the old stuff that's just you're holding onto it and you're using up energy. You know, we've talked about it. Imagine this, you know, like you go to the gym. You're in Canada, so it's, you know, you're all about pounds, but in Australia it's like a 20 kilo plate, so it's probably like 44 pound or something plate. So imagine you've got a wounded heart. Someone broke your heart. It was the love of your life. Surely it was the love of your life. They broke your heart. So to actually make sure that that never happens again, you put a big shield around your heart. You don't even realize it's happening. That takes energy to feed that shield. It takes energy to maintain it, and it takes energy to carry it around. It's like carrying a big weight plate around all day. You can kind of do it, but, oh, I need my arms. I don't have my arms. That's right. I'll just stand here and hold my plate. I want love, but for me to be loved, then I've got to drop this plate, and I'm not ready to do that. What happens though, when someone comes along and helps you move that plate to the side so that you can literally feel love again? You feel the energy of love coming through. Not only that, all that energy that you were maintaining that plate with, that shield, is all of a sudden available to do whatever else your body was supposed to be doing with that energy. Loving, projecting, growing, manifesting, building, leading, serving, being, having fun, celebrating, experiencing. So even just the initial process, you know, where we literally clean out someone's energy field and bring it back to this natural aligned state, you know, like you do with your numerology. You line up people's life so they're not wasting all this energy and time and effort trying to be something that they were never going to be because their own name is against them.
Right.
It's the same sort of thing. But what we then do is we come through and we then amplify that. So this is your aligned state. Now we grow you. This is just back to normal, neutral. You're not in a deficit. You're not in a negative. Now what gets to happen when we expand that even further? What do you get to be? How big can you grow? How big are you allowed to grow? What's your 1 year goal? Oh, I don't know. It'd be nice not to have to work. You know? Because a lot of people don't even have the self-permission to put that plate down. I don't deserve to have love. I don't deserve abundance. I'm meant to struggle. Work is meant to be hard. Some of the words you were saying, yeah, let me have it. Slam me. Hit me with it. Make me work for it. Push me through it. Like self-growth was supposed to be torturous. Because you were saying that that's what you deserved.
You unraveled a huge cord with that, just so you know, small little tangent. I went through a massive healing around self-abuse, and I have you to thank for that.
And you're not alone, mate. That's the funny thing, is that we all do it. Most of us don't even realize the addictions that we're actually tapping into. And there's so many of them. So, you know, we were talking about the 6 out of 10 life. Well, a lot of the time what we do is we try and top that up even higher, and we do it with addictions, whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol, whether it's love, whether it's sex, whether it's food, whether it's gym, excessive gym usage, whether it's excessive service. Yeah, I'll help you. I'll help you. Yeah, whatever you need doing, I'll help you. I'll help you. Yeah, I'll sleep next week. You know, like, they're all addictions. They all fill the gaps that we can't fill internally. Because our soul is literally telling us there's something wrong, there's something missing. I don't know what it is. Got no freaking idea what it is. I'm not even used to talking to my heart and my gut. So my head has got no freaking clue. All I know is that life's supposed to be different to what it is. Something is telling me.
You're reading pages from my book now, man. You're literally like just reading my life. And I know a lot of people go through this. I get it. I see a lot of people too. And I'm like, it's super profound. I'm super blessed to have you here. I want to talk about our program. I want to let people know, first of all, how they can work with you, because you have to work with Craig. You have got to work with this guy. So what's your preferred method of contact? Is Facebook okay, or do we give you
Facebook. Yeah, message me on Facebook. That's all fine. No problems at all. It's a new world. And even the fact that, you know, it blew me away when, you know, I talked about energetically clearing. I remember you told the story that, so just to set the scene, like when I did Bobby's energetic healing, his energetic clearing, I call it an activation. You know, you were saying that you were asleep in Canada, just to set the scene. So I'm here in northern Queensland in Australia, and you were over in Canada, and we G'd it up so that you were going to sleep. And you described to me that you literally started to feel what I was doing to you, even though I was on the other side of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that just shows you, we're talking about quantum. So where you are in the world doesn't matter. I even joke that it would probably work off-world as well, but I just don't know anybody personally off-world to test it on. You know it. And you were saying that you started to feel uncomfortable. And so you literally, energetically, you left your own body while you were asleep. And it just blew me away that you were able to, you said it in your own words, you used your own language. I would have worded it differently. But even still, I could tell that you knew exactly what I'd done to you and which steps I'd followed and which part of your body I was working on and why and when. And you could see it all and feel it all. And that puts it into context that that's how things can operate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why technology is such a gift. It's why there's this explosion of all of these possibilities now, purely because technology. And we get to use it to actually lift people, no matter where they are, no matter what your beliefs. We get to lift people.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like we are across the world from each other. And like for me, it doesn't feel a distance. I still feel the energetic vibration and the profound sensation of you being inside of my soul. Like it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So you and
And
you came up with this like,
even,
sorry, go for it.
but even look at that. Even the words that you're using, it shows our programming and it shows our, that's crazy.
It's
It's
amazing.
crazy.
It's just so cool.
But see the difference? We say it's crazy, and what that does, um, even a lot of the people that I've had as mentors and stuff, they still talk about, they call it woo-woo. They marginalize themselves. So it's not woo-woo. It's if your business and you just needed a tiny 2% edge, and then all of a sudden you were going to outdo your competition, wouldn't you want that edge?
Mm-hmm.
Just because that edge is something that you've never tried before, or it's not familiar, or you didn't grow up with it, or you can call it woo-woo if you want, but you're missing out. We can call it crazy if we want, and it just pushes it down again, and it makes people feel wrong for actually having these abilities or tapping into these abilities. What gets to happen when this stuff becomes mainstream? What gets to happen when people literally get to be able to lift and be more than they ever were before in a way that they never even knew that they were meant to be, in a way that their soul had been screaming out for decades? And they just couldn't listen to it. What gets to happen?
It's crazy because I remember, not crazy.
Yeah. So that's
It's
it. This is
interesting.
what we do.
It's interesting. It's interesting
Just listen to
because
this. This is what we do. We catch it. You saw how I celebrated. This is it. We do it with joyous curiosity because we're either in a state of expansion or contraction. You can't be in both. When we say I'm crazy, that's a contraction. I know you said it with a positive emphasis, but if we explore things, even if we've done something wrong, if we catch that with joyous curiosity, I used that word again. Oh, what word would I rather use? Oh, I could use amazing. I could use this word. Oh, yeah, which one I'm going to use that one. Yes, caught it. Awesome. Or I could go, oh, man, I used the word crazy again. Look at my body language. We closed down. We shut down. So we're like, oh, I caught it. Yes, yes, expansion. Growing, lifting, building. Mindset, skill set.
well, this stuff comes from back from my parents. I mean, I love my parents; they're great people. But
And
when I
their parents, and their parents, and
yeah
their parents, and their parents.
yeah I've been learning not to use the word because in Canada we call it voodoo, and that's like a word that I don't need to use anymore. And I said it just to bat it down and not make a big deal out of it so I could stay real. But then I was taught, and I'm even by you as well now, is reinforcing this feeling that the languaging we use is so super powerful. And I mean, again, as a numerologist, it's absolutely amazing to think that that we have a control over this, especially when you're dealing with more of a conscious level of understanding.
Yep, it's controlling us whether we know it or not. And it's not like a big brother programming. It often just is. It's the words that we heard as kids. It's the words that we heard around us. It's the words that we used in our direction. It's the words that we used towards other people that we align with. So, that person's hearing voices. They're a bit loopy. Oh, I thought I heard a voice the other day. Maybe I'm loopy. It's that sort of parallel and that people shut this stuff down. I frequently work with people who have all sorts of abilities that they haven't accessed or used for a long time, if ever. Sometimes the first time they ever used it, the first time they used it was a scary experience or was an unusual experience. And that made them feel uncomfortable, so they shut it down. There was no mentoring on it. There was no identification on it. Culturally, it's not looked upon as a gift. But yet lots of cultures all the way through history used to look at people that had these sorts of abilities and it was a gift. Absolute gift. If it could lift society, surely it's a good thing.
So let's talk about our combining forces here. We've got something we call the Aligned Life Alliance. And this is crazy. We're not crazy. It's cool. This is amazing because, I like to think that I can line you up on a vibrational aspect with your name. It's what I do. I help people find the vibration for their name And here you are activating, clearing energies, helping people go through a profound experience as well. So what kind of details do you, I know we want to keep the lid on this for a little bit, but I want to let you guys know, I want to give you a bit of that teaser of understanding what it's like to be a part of Craig and Bobby's, most powerful, bodacious adventure, right? This is amazing. We're going to be activating and upgrading a lot of people. So this could be you. You could be listening to this and be like, yeah, you know what? I need to work with Craig. I haven't even worked with Bobby yet. I got to definitely work with these guys. And when we were brainstorming this, we were coming up with like a 6 group or a 6-session group, where we activate everybody in a group. We heal everybody as a group. I get everybody new names. We run everybody's charts. And we basically work this as a cog in a wheel where we're 2 gears really helping this bigger mechanism come together for activating abundance inside of someone's life. I'm super excited for this. I keep on sort of dropping the hints in there and dropping that in with you when we're talking. And we even approached it, but the timing wasn't right. So I wanted to set the tone, set the bar, that you heard it here first, that we are creating a program for you guys so that you guys can absolutely be a part of this. And you can, leverage, what happens when, a power couple comes together. And Craig and I are just 1 + 1. We're, equals 2. We're 1 + 1 = 11. I'm just calling it. We're a magnification of energy. But can you speak on this? Like, let's let people know a little bit about the vision of your perspective of what it's like or what it's going to be like to get your quantum healing and get my numerology service in a package deal.
Yep. So, I mean, even when I reconnected with you and had my numbers read again, and that's a bit of a message in itself, that there's always more. There's always more layers. We're always more. So, and I've had 2 name changes with you now, and then we even considered a third. And even on the last one, you were looking at it, and I guess I just wasn't ready to hear it the first time. But what really struck me was when you said, "Yep, I'm looking at your name, and there's just no self-love in there, brother. There's just no," and I just went, "Oh shit, no wonder." Just makes sense now. So this is where the program makes a lot of sense to me. So we can have access to someone whose abilities are profound like you. We can have all these names drawn up. We can have all these possibilities. Do we have this internal self-permission to run with the name?
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I want you to talk about.
Yep. Do we have the self-permission to run with that new name?
Do you remember when we were talking before, we were talking about someone who I did the numbers for them, but then they just weren't activating because it was falling on deaf ears.
Yep, exactly. We don't have permission to do it. Or we might adopt the name, but we don't embody it. That's the difference. It's like we can be grateful. We can say, "Oh, thank you for that." But we didn't really mean it. We were just being polite. It wasn't embodied. We didn't feel the vibration of the word. "Whoa, thank you. Yeah." Like embodied. So we can have a new name. You could consult somebody even on their business name. And that even blew me out of the way. I was looking at a launch of my own, and you looked at the name of the launch. And we literally looked at the vibration of the name of the launch. And I'm like, what? Imagine if you had a multi-million-dollar business that you're about to launch. "Oh, I got a $10 million business and we're going to call it Scoochy Scoochy." And it's like the name itself is going to kill it. What happens when we actually choose a name, or we get guidance on a name that's literally going to light it up? But on a personal level, we're talking about, those fundamental self-beliefs that I was saying. If our meter, if our life meter is set at 6 out of 10, and all of a sudden we get vision on, a 10 out of 10 name, are we worthy of it? Are we allowed to adopt it? And that's where my stuff comes in. That's where we step in. We clear the energetic field. We start to work with self-worth. We start to work with limiting beliefs. We reprogram them. But we actually shine a spotlight on them. This is your self-belief. We guide you to discovering it so that you have the aha. Oh, yeah, of course. I've been doing that for years. Mm-hmm. Yes. And now that you've got it, now that you've got that understanding, you can make a choice and make a decision. What do you want your beliefs to be? Do you want a 6 out of 10 life, or do you want an 8 out of 10 life? Or do you want a 9 or a 10 out of 10 life? What do you want? Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for a 9 or a 10 out of life. Yes. And then we amplify that. We grow that. We grow that on a cellular level. We have practices and principles where we can adopt all these different things, all this different alchemical magic and quantum magic. And then we line them up with you. And all of a sudden they're, yes, I've got it. Because in my instance, for example, say I've got these abilities, I've got these gifts. Why is it that I can't apply them to myself? Why is it that I can do all these magic things for everyone else, but yet I'm at a 6 or a 7 out of 10 life in lots of different aspects? Because of the name. So then when I change my name, and all of a sudden my name lines up with this new potentiality that I feel and that I embody, everything lines up. Everything lines up. We've gotten rid of as many hurdles as we can possibly think of, as that we logically and cognitively and intuitively understand.
I'm excited.
It all just fits together. You get the new name, the new potentiality, new name, new business name, new launch name, new name of anything, new name of, anything. Your kids' names, your dog's name, yeah, whatever you want, whatever you're investing time and energy and money into, you get to line that up. But it's all about the energy as well, that personal set of beliefs, your personal quantum field, how that interacts with the quantum field around it. What happens when you literally put your whole staff through this sort of training?
Right.
So your whole staff have a set of names that align with them. Your whole staff literally get over themselves. And what happens when you're employing a staff and they all believe that life is 5 or 6 out of 10, and they're serving customers for you and they're like, yeah, what can I do for you? Welcome. And they're like, yes, what can I do for you? Awesome to see you. Love it. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. So love having you as a customer. What gets to happen? When it's authentic,
Right.
when it's embodied and they mean it.
Our work is needed on the world, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. What a great time to be alive. I appreciate you so much for being here.
You're a legend.
As you are. We're going to wrap this up, my friend. It's been an absolute honor and a blessing and a pleasure. Any advice you give to our listeners? A lot of people are getting shaken up by this. A lot of people are going to look at themselves and they're listening to every word you're saying. What's your message for them?
You know what? Even that's an interesting question, because often before we even launch on anything, we might be listening to this and you might be saying, you know what? Oh, boy, I so need that. And the very next thought that will come into your head will be a limit and a reason why you can't. And that's exactly what we're talking about. Your soul and your spirit has literally identified it. That's its job. Yes, I align with that. I feel the vibration in that. I want that. My soul is singing out, saying, yes, please, please, please. And your head goes, no, don't deserve it. All these reasons in the past why you don't deserve it. So the answer is, just listen to that gut instinct and just follow it through. Have a chat, have a conversation. Have a cat. Have a conversation. Start a conversation. We're both really approachable and we both really understand where people are coming from. I understand that even just for someone to send a message about this stuff could be a big, big effort and a major shift all in itself. I don't normally even message anybody about what I really want. I normally just go,
so true.
What do you want for dinner? Oh, just whatever you want. What movie do you want to see? Oh, I don't mind whatever you want to see. I hope we see this, but I don't really know. But if I could leave a little bit of a gift, it's literally just tapping into yourself and just being, just breathing and thinking. And that's just where it starts. That's the very first thing we start. The start of every session is breathing. Most of us don't even breathe with intention. It's just, we're not even thinking about it. We're not even looking at it as the gift that it really is.
Right.
Breathing. Pausing at the top when we're full of air. literally letting it soak in, let all that beautiful energy soak into our cells. And then exhaling blissfully. And then feeling at the bottom when we're empty, there's no air left. We just feel it, just peace and calm. And then we inhale with joy, like hold. We literally spent 20 seconds and I can feel calm already.
Truth.
So what happens at the end of the session? What
You
happens
reach out.
when it's not just a session? What happens when it gets to be embodied? What happens when it gets to be life?
Mm-hmm.
What happens when your natural state is an 8 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 life or a 10 out of 10 life instead of a 5 or 6? Shit happens. But then there's processes and there's ways to deal with it, and you've got it, and you learn from it and you grow from it, and even the crap actually grows you as a person.
Amen. Craig, I want to appreciate you. I want to thank you so much for being here, my friend. This has been a powerful session. As always, every time I connect with this man, it's just so super profound. You're a well of wisdom, a fountain of wisdom, and I cannot wait to shine your gifts with the world. People need to know that this is the type of support that they have in their journey to greatness. Alongside me, of course, I'm here, but there's a reason why I wanted to have this guy in my circle, and I wanted to showcase your story on the show. And I appreciate you so much for everything you are. I thank you guys again so much for watching, and we will catch you guys on the next one. I appreciate you again, Craig. Thank you so much, my friend. You have a great night, everybody. We'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Ciao.